You wake up one morning and realize something strange. You don't feel tired. You don't feel old. You don't feel nearing the end. That day you were given a gift, or perhaps a curse. You will never die. Not because you've become a god, not because you know the secrets of the universe, but because somehow time no longer applies to you. Your life stops, your body remains, your mind continues. Imagine that. Every second the world keeps ticking, while you, standing outside its flow. What would you do with a life that would never end? At first you might feel lucky. Everything that used to be a choice can now be postponed. Everything that once was not possible can now be lived. There is no risk. There is no defeat. There is no end, but deep inside you, the question slowly grows. If you lived forever, would your life still be worth living? What if you could live forever? Imagine this. You've just been granted immortality. No more death. No more slow decay stealing pieces of you. For the first time, time bows down to you, and you feel free. Free from the fear that haunts every human from the moment they are born. That one day, all of this will end. You start to celebrate. You try things you used to put off. You walk without rushing, because no clock is counting down anymore. You read every book you never got around to. Learn foreign languages just for fun. Build a business, destroy it, then build it again. You love. You leave. You love again. Without the fear of real loss. You feel like a god among mortals. They age, they die, but you remain. You watch the world change, and you are still here, still whole. You laugh softly at your former self, panicking at the age of 30, afraid of missing out, believing life was short. How funny now. Everything feels possible. Everything is open. Everything is infinite. And you believe this is true freedom. But you don't yet know that this euphoria will change shape. You haven't yet realized that precisely because it's infinite, meaning begins to fade. But that comes later. For now, you're still flying high, and the world feels like yours. Time keeps on moving. Not for you, but for everyone around you. You watch the people you love age, slowly, become fragile, then leave. First, your parents, then your friends, then those who came after, one by one, gone, unrepeatable. You try to avoid closeness. You think that if you don't get too close, you won't miss as much. But you're wrong. The loss is still there, even when you try not to care. Faces changed. Times change. The language started to sound foreign. You are a witness to a world that continues to evolve. But you yourself haven't changed. And slowly, you feel disconnected. Relationships become like writing in the sand. Beautiful, but fleeting. Before the waves of time erase it. You begin to realize that life is not just about duration, but about proximity, about limitations, about loss. And without it all, you start to feel empty, eternal, but alone. You imagined eternity as a gift, but eternity is time without shelter. Endless days, with no one left to count them with. Everyone you love, gone. Every connection, faded. And in that stillness, you begin to understand. To be immortal is to be endlessly alone. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Not a blessing, but a sentence. After a very long time, you start to feel an emptiness that can't be filled. Everything that used to have meaning now feels empty. happiness, sadness, love, loss, everything starts to lose its intensity. When things never end, they lose their meaning. You may start to ask yourself, what is the meaning of life if it never ends? What is the meaning of achievement if there is always another chance? What is the meaning of happiness if it is not a finite moment? The eternity you once longed for has turned into a trap. Endless time is like an empty space that continues to stretch without a purpose. You are trapped in an endless cycle where meaning feels vague and absurd. You may feel like a character in an endless tragedy, playing the same role over and over again without change. In that silence and solitude, you realize one important thing. Maybe it is precisely because life ends that life becomes meaningful. Because time is limited, we put value on every second of it. And perhaps death is not an enemy to be feared, but a friend that gives shape to our existence.